Okay, we are recording. And it is my pleasure to start us off, as we always do, with our signature message. A young lady who started to build her business in Illinois. About a year ago, she moved to Mississippi and is continuing to grow her business there. Uh, she has been Performance Club qualified now for 71 consecutive months. She is our Mississippi Queen. Please welcome Annette Zobar.
Thank you, Steve. Steve didn't say much about himself, but he and his wife, Linda, have become great friends over the years. He's always someone I've been able to count on, whether it was a ride to convention or information about Legal Shield. And it's great having a director in Legal Shield also be a DJ in his former life. So I'm going to start this evening, as we do with all our meetings, by sharing our signature message. Each of us on this call can say to ourselves, I am part of a growing team of entrepreneurs with a shared mission to protect and empower 2 million new families and small businesses with Legal Shield's network of law firms and world-class identity theft services. What we do matters, and we are looking for help. It's important for all of us to memorize and personalize this so we can use bits and pieces of this in conversation when it's important. It is now with great honor that I introduce our next speaker, the leader of Team Ascent. He traveled the world playing professional tennis. He's a business owner, speaker, author, consultant. He's helped companies implement systems generating over $75 million in revenues. He's been with Legal Shield for, I think, 18 years and has mentored thousands of individuals with his training. He's earned a $150,000 ring while working part-time, mind you, and is a Millionaire Club member. So I now turn the room over to Mr. Timur Halligan.
Well, thank you so much, Annette. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Steve, for kicking us off, man. You always got the best tunes, man. I mean, we could always count on Steve having the very, very best music for whatever theme that we're moving around. So I appreciate you, Steve, as well as your wife, Linda, for all that you guys do. And Annette, thank you so much. I remember, 71 months in Performance Club. I remember the night Annette made the decision to get into Performance Club. It was a Monday evening. We were in Shorewood, Illinois at a briefing, and we had a good talk, good conversation, one of those come into you-know-what moments. And she said, I'm going to do this. That's hard to believe. It's been 71 months, almost 6 years since you made that decision. So congratulations and welcome everybody to our monthly team Zoom. We about a month ago went back to just doing a Zoom once a month to go into accordance with the company having a once a month leadership show. And we just recently had that leadership show coming right off of, going to Hawaii, which was an unbelievable trip. And when Steve talked tonight about Mexico, I'm already thinking about Puerto Vallarta. Why? Because it's just a great trip to take. Why not? Listen, I get some people sometimes that say to me, yeah, I'm not sure if I want to go. Well, then choose not to when you get it. Right? That's my logic. Choose not to go when you actually get the trip, because at that point, your business has grown. It has moved forward in the direction that you want. And I know over this, last weekend, we started getting back into some live Super Saturdays. And so I'm going to go out to a couple ladies. I put them on the spot right before tonight, because I remember just all of a sudden I saw one of them. I said, oh, yes, live Super Saturdays this week. And I've been down with COVID for a week. So I'm just coming back to the living. But I'm going to go out to Colorado to Miss Danny Godin, because I know that you guys had Miss Anita Sarda out there, correct?
We did. It was her first ever American Super Saturday and first time ever visiting Colorado. So she was super excited. I wish I could say we filled the room, but we did have about 27 people in the room. So that was really good numbers, considering everybody's still kind of getting used to coming back to live. But it was just really exciting. She did her what she calls her popcorn training. And what she means by that, because usually when people hear the popcorn training, they think of Brian Carruthers, like you stick the popcorn in, you just take it out. That's not what she meant. By what she meant is that like every prospect is a kernel of popcorn. And then she asks you which one pops first. And you're like, well, I don't know. Well, you don't know. When you're prospecting, you don't know who is going to pop first. And same with popcorn. You don't know who's going to pop first. And if you only have one kernel in the bucket, is that going to be good popcorn? Probably not, right? You're not going to eat one piece of popcorn. So she said you need tons of kernels in your pot at all times. And then she talked about how you don't get overexcited if somebody does pop, because sometimes they end up burnt. You know, you've had people that have been in your business for a while, maybe, and they just get burnt out. They fall out of performance club and poof, they're gone. Or some of them never even pop, right? You got them in the business, they were super excited, but then they disappeared and they just never popped. So that was a really interesting Super Saturday, and I really enjoyed it and really enjoyed listening to it, because whenever I thought of popcorn, I always thought of Bragg Brothers training, and now I'm going to think about this training instead. And then one final note that she shared with me, that kind of off to the side, but she had shared that if you have an hourglass and you're tipping it, and she said she was stuck at director for a long time, and her hourglass was basically empty. And she's like, somebody told me I needed to flip it over so that I could stop being stuck at director, start building new skills. Every grain of salt is a new skill. And that's your executive director and beyond skills that you're learning when you flip it over. And I was like, wow, that it just, I don't know what it was about that, but it really hit home for me.
That's awesome, Danny. You know, I mean, one thing, you know, Anita's been really close. You know, every year we always had a great event that we would do each and every year up in Michigan. I know everybody's familiar with that. And Carlos and Sheila, you guys ran that for a while. And, you know, the Amelia's came, and the folks from Canada always came, and Anita was always there. And you know, I remember when she was that director. I remember having many, many conversations with her about director. And, you know, I remember her kids were there. They were little bitty little guys, and they were making bracelets for everybody. And now she's a 6-figure ring earner, and, you know, doing the trainings. And so, you know, we all are a kernel, and it is a matter of when we pop, right? And sometimes we pop, we're maybe not even ready to pop yet, and we jump back in the kernel again. But guess what? If you get back in there again, you just turn up the heat and you can get yourself back out again. So thank you so much, Danny. Appreciate that. Linda Beck, I know you guys had a live event in Illinois this week. Could you share a couple things from that?
Sure. Thank you, Timmer. This is Linda Beck from Morris, Illinois. I did attend the live Super Saturday this weekend. It was both live and virtual, and Lisa Holmes was there also. We had, our guest speaker was Mr. James Kelly, and of course his wife was with him as well. He's from Kentucky, I believe, right? So his training was, it started out with the 10 core commitments. If you don't know what they are, go and find them in LS Exchange and read them and go over them. My favorite one is be here a year from now. It took me a while to figure that out. I'm a little slow sometimes. This was back before, just when I started being involved, and it makes so much sense now. If you're here for a year from now, that means you're still here. You're still working. One of the other interesting parts was that our Illinois law firm had a couple of people there, and they talked about statistics. Do you know Illinois had 60,000 intake calls in the last 12 months? That's amazing, I think. And they went down and they broke that down to what some of those calls were, and it was fantastic. Anyway, Mr. Kelly had additional training too about picking your major and your minor, and recruiting, and the steps you go to make sure that that recruit has the correct information. And he went through the 3-way calls and the baseball diamond and all that. But what I came out with it, you know, it was very interesting, but, you know, basically find your major, whether it be in network or business solutions, see your vision and stick around, and you're going to be successful. Back to you,
Excellent.
Timmer.
Thank you so much, Linda. Appreciate that. James Kelly, again, yeah, I remember seeing James Kelly, you know, down in Louisville, and him and his wife, just amazing, amazing people, and pushing through, staying at director, pushing into executive director, and then hitting 6 figures, you know, with this company. It's just, you know, we hear it all the time. It's all about persistence. If you just stay persistent and consistent with your activity, you don't get pulled off the super highway too long. You don't get discouraged or distracted by other things that are happening. You got to just keep your head down and move forward. And I know you mentioned Lisa Holmes. Lisa, congratulations. I know you hit manager this month. So I want to say congratulations to Lisa Holmes. I know that Jonathan Stevens also hit manager this last month. Wanted to give a shout out to Tom Glanville. He couldn't be on tonight, but he had 14 personal recruits last month. So he had a heck of a great month in recruiting. And, back to live Super Saturdays, which is, absolutely phenomenal. And, I love what Danny said. It wasn't a packed room, but it was a room that had people in it. See, that's how you build. Just one event at a time is how you build. And we had a lot of great announcements. Again, we're coming out of Hawaii. We had some great announcements to kick off the month of August. So I'm just going to go through a few of them. We have a whole bunch, so hopefully I don't miss any. But they brought back and kept the advanced to manager promotion. That is a really, really big deal. And this is the last month that they're going to have the advanced to manager program. So you want to look down into your organization, find out who is still at senior associate or even associate, and let them know this is the last month to be able to get back and get into that manager position. So you want to definitely do that. This month, they also had a promotion where when you help somebody fast start qualify, there's another additional $100 for the sponsor and $100 for the brand new associate. So a brand new associate who fast start qualifies in the month of August gets a $400 bonus, and the sponsor picks up a $200 bonus. And so you want to think about what you can do to help folks be able to get there. Puerto Vallarta, Steve talked about that at the beginning. And Puerto Vallarta, if you missed being in Performance Club last month, you've just got to get in Performance Club for the next 8 months, I believe it is, 7 months, whatever the number is. Let me think here, July, August, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So for the next 7 months, you've got to be PC Pro. You've still got to have 15 associates that join your business between now and then. And our guest speaker tonight's going to tell us how he was the #1 recruiter in all of Illinois. So make sure you get your pens and pieces of paper out tonight for that. But 15 folks, and only 3 of them need to fast start qualify. Another incentive, which is going to end tomorrow, I know a couple folks have already started picking up on that, is, the Summer of Destiny Builder Blitz. 100 new personal network premium plus a new recruit is $200. Sometimes people look at that and go, that's $200. It's $200. I mean, if you tripped over $200 on the road, would you just say, nah, I don't want the 200? It's $200 to get $100 in network premium and a new recruit. That's your cell phone bill. That's your cable bill. That's your internet bill. That's part of your car payment. $150 in personal premium and 2 recruits is a $300 bonus. And then $200 in personal network premium plus 2 recruits is $400 bonus. I mean, and the bonus is great, but think of the growth that comes out of it. See, the key is you want to layer each promotion on top of each other. So you bring the new person in and you earn that first bonus. They get themselves in. They now get fast start qualified. They have an opportunity to pick up a $400 bonus. You've got an opportunity to pick up a $200 bonus. With the new associate they brought in to get themselves fast start qualified, they now help that person get a $400 bonus. And then they themselves get a $200 bonus. You see how you layer the promotions on top of each other? They're not all individualized. You've got your Level Up Leadership Challenge. So again, first-time executive directors in 2022 have got a $1,000 bonus. Bronze executive directors, $2,000, silver, $3,000, and it continues to go all the way up to $20,000. So make sure that you check that out. And then don't forget the Performance Club reset that was announced a couple months ago. Those that got back into Performance Club now have the opportunity to keep on going through the month of December, and they'll bring you back to your highest total that you've been in Performance Club. And so continue to add great new incentives and great new things. But I'm going to get out of the way tonight, or I'm going to stay in the way, but have an opportunity now to speak to a gentleman who I've got the opportunity. Again, we talked earlier about watching people grow. I remember the first couple of times I met this gentleman at some of our Super Saturdays when I lived back in Illinois, and he was always filled with enthusiasm, always filled with energy, and always dressed as the best guy in the room. I can promise you that. Mr. J.R. Riddle, are you there, sir?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Gotcha, man. Gotcha. How are you tonight, buddy?
I'm doing incredible. I'm actually in the backwoods of Mississippi, but I'm doing incredible. How are you doing, sir?
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening and taking some time. It was great seeing you guys in Hawaii, man. That was a heck of a good time over in Hawaii. And I see you on all the trips, man. So I'm sure you'll be in Puerto Vallarta, correct?
If there's a trip, I'll be there.
Excellent,
I
man.
would
Well,
not-
listen, let's go ahead and jump right into it, man. I got some questions for you. We'll talk for the next 15 minutes or so. Appreciate you taking time. I know you're down there doing some family stuff. I did follow you. I can always track your journeys on Facebook, man. So I knew you were out of the state doing some stuff. But tell me a little bit about your background and how you got introduced to Legal Shield. I always love to hear that story of how were you recruited in this business. Everybody forgets that every one of us has been recruited.
Correct. Well, first of all, thank you, Mr. Timmer Halligan, and your leadership and everything that you do for the PPLSI family and, your team and so many other people that you have actually helped grow in this business. And so, my name is J.R. Riddle from Chicago, Illinois, by the way of Mississippi. My background is in, education. I did that for 7 years as an assistant teacher. Did 4 years in Aberdeen, Mississippi, and 3 years in Illinois when I decided to move back about 13, 14 years ago. And so life happened, right? And sometimes what you order off the menu, even though you may go and order something off the menu in the drive-thru, when you get home, it's not what you ordered. And so that's what happened to us, me and my wife, as we decided to expand our family, because she had 2 boys from a previous marriage, and I had a son from a previous relationship. And God had blessed us with a little girl. And that little girl came 2 months before her due date, which caused her, not to breathe for the first 12 minutes of her life. She had a trach, a G-tube, a shunt, a ventilator, and all of those things. And one of the guys that I knew, previously before Legal Shield, Mr. Corey Williams, actually had introduced me to the opportunity, and he came at the perfect time because I was looking for something and I was searching for something because, my boss, my principal at the time, didn't want to give me a long-term disability with pay, right? Because I didn't know how long I was going to be out. And so my daughter actually stayed in the hospital for about 6 months. And so when this opportunity fell in my lap, I was eager to learn. I was eager to hit the top position at the company, hit executive director in the first 5 months. And by the 6th month, the company had paid me about $17,000 because there was a $10,000 bonus on the table when you hit executive director, right? And so I went back to work and I spoke to that same principal who told me what I could and what I could not do. And I said, you know what? There's something in my eyes and I cannot see. She says, well, that I said, I can't see myself working for you anymore, and took a leap of faith and walked away from that teaching position and been a stay-home dad for the last 4.5 of the 5 years that I've been with Legal Shield. Legal Shield has blessed us, to pay out my mom's house and do some incredible things as such. And even though that little baby girl that I just talked about, she transitioned to be with her Heavenly Father in January. And even in January, working the business part-time, Mr. Halligan, still made about $6,000 part-time with Legal Shield. So that's our story.
That's awesome, man. And, again, prayers out to you. I mean, I followed your journey with your daughter and such, and I know that everybody sent prayers and good thoughts your way. And you know what? She's up there shining her light upon all of us right now. So I know that you definitely see that and feel that every single day. And so, I transitioned a little bit forward, and every time I ever saw a trophy being won in Illinois, it was always J.R. Riddle going to the front of the room, man. I mean, everything from #1 recruiter in Illinois, #1 producer in Illinois, #1 fast start qualifier in Illinois. And I think you were #1 for helping people fast start qualifying all of Legal Shield PPLSI in 2021. Can you kind of break down some numbers for us? Break that down to everybody. What does that really mean? Because sometimes, they think #1 means you recruited 350 people or something like that, right? But it's not about the quantity so much, right? I mean, it's there because that's what the award is about. But maybe you can break down some of those numbers for us. What'd you do to be #1 in Illinois in all those categories?
And I appreciate that. When I joined, I said I didn't join to be in second place or third place, anything like that. But I really joined to do my best. And so I didn't want to sit on the bench because I played football while I was at high school. and I played basketball. But football, I actually started. In basketball, I sat on the bench. I didn't want to sit on the bench when I got into the business. I actually wanted to play the game. And if you was going to play the game, you might as well win the game. That sound fair to you? And so when I started, I look for people that is looking to win. And if they're not looking to win, then I'm looking for people that's not willing to lose. Kind of. And so when we get started, I really just push the button on, my new recruits to say, hey, if we can get you paid today, how would you like to do that? And they say, I would love to get paid today. I said, well, put me in front of your favorite 5 people that say that they love you. I call it the I love you list, right? Because when I got started, that's the list that I call. The first 5 people that I talk to on a day-to-day basis, and the people that said that they love me no matter what, and that they would help me be successful if I ever started a business. And so the first person I ever called was my best friend since we've been 10 years old. I called him and said, hey, sir, I actually need you to get this service, but not only get this service, but I need you to protect yourself with the service, because I just got it, and I believe that it'll be a great service to you and your family. My best friend that asked no question, he asked me the cost. He said, take my credit card. I signed him up. He still has the service today. And so then the second person was my cousin. I called him, one of my favorite cousins. We talk all the time. I said, hey, I actually just joined Legal Shield, and I really would love for you to support me. He said, you know what? I was just looking at Legal Shield and really need the services. And he said, since you're doing it, I might as well join you. He signed up for the service. Third person was my mom, right? So they said 3 times is a charm. And so I actually called my mom and I said, hey, Mom, I found a way where I don't have to borrow money from you anymore, and I need you to services. And this is what she said to me, Mr. Timber Halligan. She says, hey, you should have called yesterday because I have no more money to give you, right? But she still signed up, and she became, one of our members. And then later on, she actually became one of my business partners and my first director on my team. And so put me in front of your first five people that you say that you love. We're going to share this information with them. Not only that, but we're going to share how valuable it is, and you're actually helping the person that you say you love.
That's awesome. And so tell me a little bit about #1 fast start qualifier in all of PPLSI. What does that look like? How many folks did you get fast start qualified?
Really?
When you get that brand new associate, I think so much about it is your posture. Sometimes you're like, well, I'm not sure if you want to get started right away today, or, maybe we can wait until next week, or, tell me how, when, you describe that sense of urgency with each one of these folks, and how did that kind of play out? Because you probably got some people that don't jump in right away and put both feet in, and they like to sit on the bench, but you've got enough people that got off the bench right away to get you to be #1 in all of PPLSI. So how did that look, and how did that work?
Well, kind of like the same process that I just shared with you, that like the favorite 5, your first 5, the people that say that they love you the most. And it was basically, in 24 to 48 hours. Some people didn't want to do it within that 24 to 48 hours, but I stayed on top of them because it was not only a goal for them, but it was a goal for me. And I wrote it down because, the last 2 years, I was actually #3 in fast start qualifications. I said, you know what? I don't want to be #3. I actually want to be #1. I wrote it down on my vision board, as I always do. And, I always heard that if you can see it, you can seize it. And so I saw myself getting that award. And definitely after my daughter, was in the hospital and things like that, I said, you know what? Across the stage with my daughter with an award. And so she actually passed away, but I still walked across the stage with her on my shirt. And so that was, it was really, satisfying, because doing this business, people, they cheer you on, but they really don't want to see you win. And so your friends on Facebook, they think that it works. It might work, but getting the trophies and going on the trips and things like that gravitates to them that say, you know what, let me give this a shot and let me join Mr. Riddle to see what he's doing. And so that's actually how we got that award. That's how actually we stay in phase 1 all the time, no matter, what level, what position we're at. And so that's what we continue to do. Just recruited 4 people yesterday, and all of them was in fast class yesterday. Two of them already got, $60, $80 in premium and one recruit. So I'm looking to level all of them up before the week is out.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations. That's and the thing is, I love what you said. You always stay in phase one, right? Sometimes you get this vision, folks, that you got to get to phase two, phase three, phase four to be successful. And that's where you got to be. Well, phase one is where everything comes from, right? Everything comes from that very, very first step. We've had a lot of transitions going on in PPLSI, right? I mean, just the fact trying to remember to say PPLSI is a little bit difficult sometimes because we always want to say Legal Shield, which again, folks, say whatever's comfortable to you, right? That's what I always tell people. Say whatever's comfortable to you. I think here it's great to say PPLSI, but if you've been going to Chamber of Commerce events and you've been doing all this sort of stuff, keep on saying Legal Shield, right? I mean, because it's all one and the same. But maybe you can give some of your thoughts on, where you see Legal Shield, PPLSI right now. Like, you saw it 5 years ago, right? So you've got 5 years of knowledge and expertise to be able to share. Where do you see us right now? Where do you see us going?
Right now, I think that we're in a great position, for the last 5 years, even under the leadership, Mr. Jeff Bell, making some adjustments so that we can win. And even though the pandemic came, the pandemic really didn't hurt our business. It actually exploded our business. And so I see within the next 5 years that prepaid legal services will be a home product for everyone across the country, right? And so it's imperative that you get in now, right? Don't wait, for the other masses, but do it right now. You guys have a leader who's a millionaire. I watched this gentleman while I was in Chicago play tennis and, take care of his mom and his wife and his kids and do it with such joy. And so he went from a $50,000 ring earner to a $100,000 ring earner. But I do have to share this. I remember the time that you was like $20,000 or $30,000 in chargebacks and still overcame the hump to hit the 100 and the 150 all in the same year. I was like, wow, whatever he did, I want to do the same thing, right? Because if I'm ever in that situation, I want to have a team that's so massive that it eat up all of those chargebacks because most people quit, right? When they got $20,000 or $30,000 in chargebacks. But guess what? You still stayed in phase one. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm still staying in phase one, no matter what comes our way. And so I'm telling you guys, if you can get the people in front of the information, if you can get them to use the service within 24 to 48 hours, right? To talk to the attorney just to see how our service work, because most people are never engaged. That's why they drop the services, because they never connect with the lawyer. They never call and utilize their services. They never get their will done. Actually, when the world was open, and if you live in close proximity to where I live, I will pick up your will within 2 weeks or 2 months, and I'll pick it up from your house and drop it off at the law firm. That keeps a relationship between me and the person, but not only keep a relationship between me and the person, but it allowed me to go back to the person to see if they wanted to be a business partner or if they want to continue to refer people to me and my business. And so that's where I see Legal Shield. Legal Shield is going to be a brand name just like Michael Jordan and all the other brand names that's out there, because the word is getting out. And so guess what? Do you want to sign them up, or do you want us to sign them up?
Well, you can just drop the mic on that one, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Any final words you have to, we got some new associates here. We've got some longtime associates here. We got a few associates who are probably stuck at director a little bit longer than they want to be stuck at director, Any final words that you have to close them out and what you would say?
I would say make your mind up and draw a line in the sand. And when I say make your mind up, really put in your mind faith over fear, right? Because most of the times we let fear conquer our faith, and we don't do it. But when you allow your faith to conquer your fear, guess what? Nothing can stop you. And so I want to tell you to stay in the game, right? But not only stay in the game, to study the game. Get into your back office and see where you need to be. Every month or every day, I see myself moving to another level. Not only that, but I see other people moving to another level. And as many people as you help, because we know that service to many leads to greatness. And so we just got to lead more people. We just got to help more people. So you just got to get the word more, get the word out. Become attractive, right? You don't have to spread Legal Shield all over your Facebook and plaster it every day. But guess what? Show them your ups and your downs. Be vulnerable. I actually just sent out a text message, Mr. Halligan, right before I came to Mississippi, because right now I'm in Ripley, Mississippi, at my wife's family reunion. Then next week is my family reunion because my mom stayed in Aberdeen, Mississippi. And then the week after that, my stepson is going to Mississippi State. So I'm going to be in Mississippi for 3 weeks, right? But I sent a text message out to some pastors that I know. And this is exactly what I said, right? And sometimes you got to become vulnerable. I said, hey, pastors, how you doing? This is Mr. J.R. Riddle. I know you guys love to see us win, and I will appreciate it that if you guys can help me and my wife hit the 6-figure ring mark before the summer is out. I would like to jump on a Zoom with you guys and share with you how it can not only help you because you guys already have the service, but help your entire congregation. Guess what they said? We're willing to help you, right? I was vulnerable. Can you help me get to 6 figures? I let them know what the mark is. I wrote it down, and now I'm going to put it into action, and I'm not going home unless I got 30 to 50 apps.
Well, thank you so much, JR. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you to your wife, Shay, for allowing you to spend some time with us while you guys are out of town. And I love what he said. He didn't skip a beat. He said, I'm going to be here for 1 week. I'm going to be here for another week. And I'll be here for another week. Not once did he have to think about what boss he was going to ask if he could take the next 3 weeks away from his home in Chicago to be down there with family. And so that's what's so amazing about this incredible business. I think so often gets overlooked is that ability. When I got to spend the last 3 weeks with my mom before she passed, man, and did not have to think about anything other than being right there, singing John Denver, listening to Neil Diamond, and just praying with her, man, that was just so darn special. So thank you so much, Mr. Riddle. I appreciate you tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll catch up to you real soon, buddy.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Godspeed. And I'm looking forward to you to hitting the $200,000, the $500,000, and even $1 million ring. So much success to you and your entire team. And so I'll talk to you soon, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Have a great one.
Too.
Well, folks, that was just incredible. And hopefully you wrote yourself some notes and took some great things to write down. But, always staying in phase one. I mean, you hear that from the very, very best of folks. I love it. Who's your favorite 5 people? Getting people on the phone the second they come on board, not hesitating, not waiting, just saying, hey, listen, who are the 5 people that you could reach out to right now? And then reaching out with them. And that nugget about picking up the will and keeping close by people was really, really incredible. And so, folks, listen, there is no mystery to being successful in this business. There really isn't. I've many, many times I try to overcomplicate it or think about how you can make it more complicated and how you have to have incredible skills. No, you just have to have courage to get told no a few times. It's okay to be told no, right? You got to be vulnerable. I love what Mr. Riddle said when he said, I ask people for help. Ask them, listen, I need your help. If you could just take a few minutes and just listen to what it is that we do, I would greatly appreciate that. If you could take a few minutes and jump on this Zoom, right? We got Zooms this upcoming week. We got 2 of them. We got tomorrow night. We got Wednesday night. We got Thursday night. I think we got a daytime one, and maybe someone could put in the chat what that time that is, because I don't remember off the top of my head. But you have the opportunity. You have the service, right? The service works. Could you imagine your life without your Legal Shield membership? Just think about that for a second. Could you imagine your life without the Legal Shield and ID Shield membership? It reduces stress. It allows you to live more and worry less, right? Remember we used to say that, live more, worry less. It truly, truly allows you to have that. And so thank you guys so much for joining us this evening. Mr. Drennan is in Canada. That's why he's not joining us tonight, back to his annual trip that he takes every single year. So he is out of pocket. I'll be doing the Zoom tomorrow night, as well as the Zoom on Wednesday night. So get your guests out there. And I'm going to send it back to you, Mr. Steve Beck, to close us out with an awesome video.
Let me give you a good philosophical phrase. All values must be won by contest. All values must be won by contest. And after they've been won, they must be defended. You say, wow, you've put a pretty heavy task on us. That's what life is all about, a pretty heavy challenge. We don't give large trophies for small effort. If you want to win high health, if you want to win high wealth, if you want to extend a long reach in touching people's lives, you got to engage in some of these extra powerful disciplines. And one is to secure the territory by vigor, and the other is to defend it with equal challenge. Attack. Procrastination. Here's another good one, blame. I engaged in this the big share of my life until I met Mr. Show. I used to blame my negative relatives. I used to blame the government. I used to blame taxes. I used to blame prices. I said, it costs too much. Show said, no, let's cover the real problem. You can't afford it. I never looked at it like that before. Shoaff said, sir, you must intellectually understand it's not it that's your problem. It's you that's your problem. It's not out there that's the problem. Out there is like it's been for 6,000 years. You can't cure that. But what you can cure is errors in judgment, errors in attitude, errors in activity, errors in judging results. I found that the errors were within. But see, he had to go after me on that point. Here's the next one. Excuses. Wow. We've got a million. I'm too short. I'm too tall. I'm too old. I'm too young. I don't have the money. I don't have the experience. On and on and on with the excuses. Learning to attack. Very important. Procrastination. That's a good one, front and center. We've got to attack procrastination because it's so insidious. It eats up such large chunks of your life and leaves you in a small corner. Putting it off. Delaying. Letting it slide. Now, I'm one of the best to attack procrastination because I confess to being one of the all-time great procrastinators. I've done a lot of things, but I've put a lot of things off. Procrastination. I am so good, I could teach it. But I also know the pain of procrastination. I also know the regret that comes from procrastination. I can also show you pieces of my life missing, never to be repaired, because I let it slide. Now see, if we all studied our own lives, and we're trying to help somebody with this insidious disease of procrastination and putting it off, front and center, we use ourselves as best example because you feel the strongest about your own experiences and your own emotions. Do you think you could help somebody with procrastination? Developing this skill of going back, rehearsing your own life and coming up with the essence of the emotion and the experience to try to illustrate to somebody how insidious it can become and how devastating it can leave your life and what'll be missing if you let it slide. That's what we call learning to attack the problem. Now, underline the word attack. It's very important to go after the insidious.
Thank you, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Timmer. Glad you're feeling better.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome Zoom,
Glad
guys.
you're feeling better, Timmer.
Congratulations. Awesome.
Thank you, everybody. Yeah.
Great.
Awesome.
Good stuff. Good night.
Thank you.
Good job, Timmer. Hope you feel
Great job,
better.
Timmer.
Timmer.
And everybody in Louisville.
Bye, Brenda.
Hey, baby.
Hey. Hey, Lisa.
Hi, Janae.
Hi.
Hi,
Good
Bobby.
night.
Have a good one.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Janae.
Hey. How you feeling?
Real good.
That's good. I've been praying for you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I'm glad you're feeling better. And Timmer, too.
Yeah, we're both on the mend.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys have a wonderful night. And I got the quotes ready for this week.
Okay, well, I think Linda's hosting the call tomorrow, so
Okay.
I'll let her know. She's already dropped off of here.
Great video
Okay.
tonight, Steve. Thank you, as always.
Thanks, Steve.
Sure.
Bye.
Good night.
Night.